Chapter 10. The No Blanket Challenge. I've always had trouble falling asleep and staying that way, but most of all, I failed big time at the so-called art of sleeping in. The only thing worse than having issues with sleep is telling someone you have an issue, since everyone in the world thinks they are an expert at helping other people sleep better. Don't believe me? The next time you're out, say to someone, "I have trouble sleeping." Then watch that person turn into a first responder. "Have you tried hot tea? Have you downloaded the latest mindfulness app? I've read that if you snort crushed gerbakatu root mixed with decaying cockapoo turds dried in the northernmost point of the Teton mountain range, it'll cure any sleep issue." These people are trying to help, but every adult with sleep issues has tried every remedy out there. Think about it. If you have trouble sleeping, it's a big liability. It's like having an issue with drinking water. Sleep is a necessity. If you have trouble with it, you suffer. It's also a huge market. So if there was a good cure for what ails us insomniacs, we'd all know about it. You've seen how many billions Viagra makes. If there were a sleeping aid for the common insomniac, there'd be a NASCAR team and other athletes endorsing it. I've tried it all. Hot tea, natural herbs, sprays, pills, booze, meditation, you name it, I've tried it, and it did not work. I do have my tricks though. In order to combat the hell that is trouble sleeping, I've picked up some habits to help me cope with the tedium of quietly lying awake. One is to wrap a thick blanket around my head so I hear the same noise as when you hold a seashell up to your ear. But this only helps me fall asleep, since the blanket doesn't stay tight around my ears when I eventually change positions. I can't explain it, but a consistent noise calms my mind and helps me sleep. Good sleepers never understand what I mean by the following, but the noise of a quiet room is a distracting, terrible noise. And not just any noise works. Snoring, for example, is worse than silence, as it's inconsistent and I need consistency. One noise at one volume all night long. The best noise for sleeping is a fan, but there are 4 problems with fans. Problem 1, it can get cold with a fan on, especially in winter. Which leads to problem 2. If you sleep with someone, they must willingly sleep in your Arctic chamber of death, risking a dry mouth or sore throat. Problem 3. Believe it or not, some people hate the noise of a fan. This means your partner has to also go along with your psychotic noise plan. Problem 4. Travel. Even if you are single, it's difficult to travel with a fan and extra blankets, and then demand your host raise the heat so your delicate mind can stay asleep. One day, I was trying for the millionth time to explain to my wife why I need to sleep with my fan when she groaned in some magical way that allowed me to finally see her side of the debate. She, like most people, finds sleep a pure pleasure, and my fan had made her sleep less enjoyable. My habit was hurting someone I loved. As a champion logic accomplishment junkie, I decided to train myself to sleep without assistance. I set up a 21-day challenge to sleep without a fan or blankets, and, for extra bragging rights, I decided to remove pillows. My logic was that if I could get used to a new hell, then the previous hell would seem like a paradise. Silence, my original enemy, would seem like a walk in the park. Now you may be wondering, Mike, if you were trying to make sleep as miserable as possible, why didn't you also sleep on a hard floor with the lights on? Well, it's because I didn't see myself staying at a lot of places where the sun doesn't set and I don't have a soft spot to lie on. And also, I didn't want my wife to leave me. It was enough to ask her to let me sleep on top of the bed for 21 days. She did love the no fan part, though. Night 1 was the worst. Well, unless you count nights 2 through 21, which were equally awful. Without any noise, falling asleep was excruciating, and staying asleep was impossible. Every night, I'd wake up cold and willing to trade my loved ones for a sliver of a blanket, and without any noise, I couldn't ever get back to sleep. And the lack of pillows ruined sleeping in. The moment the sun rose, I had nowhere to hide my eyelids. Even worse was my neck, whose muscles must have a private workout when they don't have a pillow to rest on. I woke up most mornings with neck cricks that lasted until the mid-afternoon. Which raises a larger point. How have we learned to clone animals but failed to solve neck cricks? When this challenge finally ended, while I did miss my pillows and blankets, I was ready to marry my fan. In 21 days, I didn't even come close to curing the mystery of silence. The only benefit from this challenge is that if an apocalypse does occur, and I survive to inhabit a world without pillows, blankets, or electricity for fans, I imagine most people will be flipping out when they can't sleep, while I'll be thinking, this sucks, but I've done this before.